Sorry for the delay. I'm running the show today. No Chris King. Come on in the room. Bucks win it tonight. It's a little different. 111-94 over the Indiana Pacers. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all our scriptures. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. It's Cream City crossover. Guru across the third.
JT. Justin.
Yeah, there we go. Everybody's in the building. Okay, I think we're working. Okay, I think we're live. Good. Come on in the room. Good stuff for you tonight. The Bucks get a dub. Should be excited about that. Happy about that. That the Bucks do what they do. They go ahead and get the win. 111-94 over the Indiana Pacers. Come on in the room. Get at us on the Twitter. Get at us on the YouTube. In the chat. We'll read it. We'll talk about it. Yeah, James Moore, the Bucks won. Daniel Bear says, happy Tuesday. What's up? Happy Christmas Eve Junior for those who celebrate. And yeah, let's get into it. The Bucks giving an early Christmas gift with the dub over the Indiana Pacers. 111-94. Let's talk about it with the game recap. Start this thing off. Let's see here. A lot of fun. This is an interesting game tonight. KPJ, 24, 6 and 5, 3 steals, 8 of 13 from the field, 61%. Man, he played a hell of a basketball game. 2 for 3 from the three-point line, 6 and 9 from the free throw line, plus 16. Biggest stat of the day for KPJ, 1 turnover. That's what I like to see from him. AJ Green still struggling to get back into it. 4 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Moesha was out there getting booed by it. I'm gonna be honest with you. You said it, I think, JT, the other night. The honeymoon's over with Myles Turner. I'm not. I don't even want to say I'm out. I'm just not. I don't have it in me anymore. Myles Turner, 10.6 boards, 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. He was outside of a. Only 2 players for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight were plus minus. Him and Amir Coffey. He was the only minus starter tonight. I don't know what's going on. Bobby, 14 and 9, 2 assists, 6 of 12. Looks like he's kind of getting his stride going offensively. We talked about that from Bobby Portis. Kyle Kuzma, 15 and 7 tonight, 5 of 12. He did have 5 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. I think 2 or 3 of those were charges that got. At least 2 were charges. And then in the fourth, I thought he had a decent game. And I think the fourth quarter, starting the fourth, didn't seem to go as well for him. Gary Trent Jr., 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Only played 5 minutes because of he was injured early on a fast break layup by Pascal Siakam. And I thought he looked good to start the game. Unfortunate that he wasn't able to finish. How about Ryan Rollins tonight? 23, 7 and 4, 1 steal, 1 block, 10 of 15. He shot 66% from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, plus 18, no turnovers. So you're starting backcourt. What's that? 24 and 23. What's that? 47, 13 and 9 was your starting backcourt tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. So again, a lot of credit to those 2 guys. Ryan Rollins. And again, I'm 32 minutes for him, 37 for KPJ. I know we talked about whether or not you start them both. What do you do? I don't mind Rollins coming off the bench, but he's got to play starter minutes if he is. That's the only thing. If he's going to come off the bench, that's fine. Got to play starter minutes. Jericho Sims, I thought, strong game. 6.7 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal. Strong game from Sims. He had 4 turnovers. I think 2 or 3 of his were those were screens that were set, illegal screens. And I'm okay with those. Those are tough turnovers. I think Doc Rivers, they said on the broadcast a couple of games ago, he would live with some of those. Garrett Harris, solid minutes. And Gary, again, he's a guy. He doesn't do much good, but if he can give me 5 points, 2 rebounds, I will take that. I'll take that. He was a plus 20. On the Indiana side of things, Jay Huff 9.7 rebounds, Siakam 15 and 9, very pedestrian. 13 and 6 for Ben Mathurin, 14 3 and 6 from Nimhard. Thompson with 3 points. T.J. McConnell 16. See, like he kept getting to his spot, so a decent night from him. Wiseman 3 points, and they just didn't have a lot going for him. I'll say this from what I saw, and I'll pass it over. Well, and I'll do a super chat and then pass it over. I thought that first 5-6 minutes of this game set basketball back 10 years. Both teams were pathetic. I think it's one of those things where, again, if you are the Bucks, starts like that. If that's not the Pacers, if you're not playing against the Pacers, that kind of start, you could end up down 15. That's how you start off down 15. You got lucky, fortunate you were playing a terrible Pacers team and they couldn't take advantage of anything. But then overall, once the Bucks settled into it, thought they played really well. KPJ got where he wanted to go. Rollins was excellent. One of the few times I can remember Rollins and KPJ playing a great game together, which is what you need. Sims rim run to the basket. Bobby seems to have found his stride. Kuzma seems to just do just enough in there where he's defending at a high level and scoring where he can score. Timely buckets when needed. And again, it was a good night. The Pacers are a bad basketball team, and you should beat a bad basketball team. That's just how it goes. That's exactly how it goes when you're playing a team that is an inferior opponent. So I was glad to see it. They were up 20 basically all night. Fourth quarter came, and you got to get on your high horse and do some work. And the fourth quarter, it's tough to win by 20 all night. Bucks, once they got up 16, 18, whatever, they lost 16-point lead the other night. But tonight, I think Indiana got it down to 9. Some turnovers, careless play, what have you. But then next thing you know, boom, get out there, KPJ hits a 3. And then I think Rollins, I think another one to settle down. Rollins missed a 3. Kuzma got the rebound, lay it up. A.J. Green then the 3. So you had those timely buckets that made things happen. And I think the only other issue I saw, I think the ball stopped moving a little bit in the fourth quarter, which I didn't appreciate, didn't like, and sometimes got a little stagnant. KPJ got into a little bit of hero ball. But at the end of the day, I'll take it. Win's a win. You needed it. Good job for the Milwaukee Bucks. They get the dub, 111-94. I'll do a super chat. Steeler face 21. I'm still dealing with this. Still dealing with this with my voice here after that Panthers game. Steeler face 21 with the super chat. See, we win. Hey, we win around here. Ain't no big sig. And I'm sorry, we ain't bringing back quarterbacks from yesteryear, and we ain't letting Cinderella go to the prom and beat us with bombs in overtime. That's not what we doing. My bad. Still face 21 with the super chat. He says biggest positive from this game to take away is Giannis immediately walking to the locker room with GTJ when he got injured. Might show he's not totally checked out. Still face. This is some narrative. This narrative that he's checked out, I just don't see it. So even I hear you. You see this as like, I think you're reading into like a sign that's not necessarily there. And sometimes, you get into it with family members or coworker or somebody like that. And as soon as you meet that person, you have this perception that they're against. And I think we're dealing with that with Giannis. This perception that he doesn't want to be here. And now we're reading into, did he smile while he was on the bench? Is he on the bench? Did he help somebody to the locker room? I would just calm down with all that. Appreciate the super chat. But I just think we're reading too much. He walked GTJ into the locker room, and that means he's not checked out. I just think we're going way. He deleted his social media. We're going way too far into the weeds on trying to figure out what's going on with Giannis. That's just my personal opinion. But that's what I saw tonight. JT, what'd you see? Hans, are y'all able to hear him? Because I can't hear John at all.
I can't hear you either, bro.
Okay, so we're having some audio issues. Try one more time,
You guys
JT.
got me now?
There we go. There we go. Okay, go, JT.
So it's just one of those things where I think you're right. Everybody's hanging on to what Giannis is doing. You're looking for any and every inclination to mean something because you haven't got a fully of a straight answer from him at this point. But I will say, and I think we've said this in shows before, I don't think he's checked out on these guys at all. I think he has genuine relationships with these guys on his team. Right now, what does that mean? I don't really know. But I think that he does genuinely like the guys. I think there is some chemistry between him and the guys, at least on a personal level. Talk about tonight. So one thing I like about tonight is the Bucks. Trey, you talk about that first quarter. In that first part of the first half, I mean, you realize we only made 4 threes in that first half. And literally going into halftime, we were like 25% from three. I was literally thinking, all right, we're up 15. Threes will eventually fall. We'll figure this thing out. But it was one of those nights where you did, in the beginning, think, okay, are we going to play with our food tonight, or are we just going to finish? We're going to keep our foot on the necks of the Pacers here. We're going to keep the thing. And for the most part, we definitely did that. I thought tonight, again, we talk about this wins in the aggregate, where everybody's kind of chipping in and doing their part. And I thought that tonight, I mean, you look at Bobby, you look at Kyle Kuzma, you look at KPJ, you look at Ryan Rollins, all of those guys from an offensive perspective, a pretty decent night. And I think that's what you need. This is how you're going to have to win games while Giannis is out. Is you're going to need guys, not guys just stepping up, not just guys stepping up, but you're going to need guys to do their parts as well. So I thought that was a great look. The thing I didn't love the turnover battle. We lost the turnover battle tonight. I mean, not to be nitpicky here. Kyle Kuzma had a number. I think he led the team, led the game in turnovers with 5. But I mean, at the end of the day, not the end of the world. We found a way to finish. We found a way to get this thing done. But you know what I do want to say right now, though, and Justin, I want to say this especially to you. Trey talked about how Bobby was kind of a steadying presence. At this point, he's found his footing. Guys, the last 5 games from Bobby, he's been very consistent. The last 5 games from Bobby, this is exactly what we need. This is exactly what you need Bobby to do, and what we've all seen Bobby do over the last 5, 6 years, however long he's been in Milwaukee. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have looked at the numbers here, but 6 for 12 tonight, 7 for 17, 9 for 16 on the 18th, 4 for 7 on the 14th, 11 for 13 on the 11th, right? Like the last 5 games from Bobby, we need to see more of this, because this is what I'm talking about. This is a key component that we were missing, right? Bobby buckets, not Bobby bricks, right? And that's exactly what it is. And so I was excited to see that. The other thing is you wanted to stop the skid, right? Like you're on your last pair of draws. You wanted to stop the skid here from from the losses. You know what I mean? Like you wanted to stop that from the losses here. You gotta get a win. You gotta break this up. Again, we talk about this quicksand all the time. You just cannot pile loss after loss after loss. You've got to get some dubs and you've got to get some wins, and especially until Giannis can return to this lineup. So, man, really glad. Always a good night when we beat the Pacers. Really glad that we won this in the way that we did, and we kept our momentum up. And yeah, good dub. I say we celebrate tonight.
Yeah, man. I share a lot of the same sentiments that y'all share. Just real quick to steal her face with the super chat, though. You've been one of the main ones pushing the narrative that he's leaving. And now he goes and helps GTJ to the locker room, and you feel like he's staying. I'm really confused, but it's all good, man. Appreciate the super chat. I would say to everyone, as far as 34 is concerned, let's just wait till we hear it from him. Either way, because at this point we can speculate. We done had the body language police for Aaron Rodgers, Christian Yelich, Giannis now. And I mean, we just don't know what's inside their locker room. Let's get to Ryan Rollins, though. Ryan Rollins said we started with good energy, held them to 20 points. Shout out my guy Justice, too. Justice is always, God, dog, these people in my family don't know I'm on the darn show. I done got 3 calls since we've been on. What's wrong with these people? JR, you should be in the chat. Ma, you should be in the chat watching this versus calling me. Anyways, Ryan Rollins said we started out with great energy. We held them to 20 points. And shout out my guy Justice on 20, because that's one of his, on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That's one of his big points to the game. When we hold a team under 25 points in the first quarter, he feels like we got a great shot to win. Now, I mean, that's one of the hardest things to do in the NBA, but I think that's a solid point. Wish we had, a stat guy that could look that up, but, we treading water, brother. I'll get it for you at some point, though. He says that Ryan says he feels good all the time. Doesn't matter if his shots are not going in or they are. He gets to his spots, and sometimes the shots just don't go in. Let's get to Doc Rivers. Doc said that he was frustrated in the beginning of the fourth quarter. Alluded to Trey, man. It's Trey, man. I feel like Trey might be some kinfolk to Doc. For y'all folks in the Midwest and down here in the South, kinfolk, you can tell them what that means later. But he said they lost the spacing on the floor, and they lost their tempo. And that's kind of spot on what you said, Trey. Said the Bucks did a good job of keep playing, though, when Indy fought back. They played good defense, and most importantly, they just made shots. And they really wanted to focus on setting up Scoot in the middle of the floor with that pick and roll. And they exposed some stuff, but the picks have to be better. Talked about how maybe guys were coming too soon, or they just weren't in a good spot because Nembhard was fighting over a lot of those picks, even forced a deflection. The switching today was great. Played good physical defense, trapped TJ McConnell a couple times, made his life difficult, and made him the points that he did get, he earned them. But we got to see this for 48 minutes. Gary Trent Jr. has a calf contusion, potentially. There's no update on it. He said the Pacers' offensive numbers really aren't that good, but what they are great on is getting to the foul line. Thought it was one of the craziest NBA basketball games with the amount of free throws that were missed by both teams tonight. You'd have thought Giannis was on the floor. We were making free throws. And then the last point that he made was AJ Green's shots had more energy tonight.
The hell does that mean? His shots had more energy. He missed them.
Shots had more energy.
Okay, more energy. They clanked off the rim. Okay.
You know, I'm learning how to be a troll from you two gentlemen, so that's why I paused. So tonight, he said every shot that left his hand looked like it was going in versus the shots that he had in Minnesota looked like there was no chance of him going in. For me, when I look at those turnovers, one of the important things you mentioned, KPJ had one. Also, Ryan Rollins had 0 tonight. Mm-hmm. Very solid. And then out of those 15 turnovers tonight, Jericho Sims and Kyle Kuzma had 9 of the 15. So, you know, a lot of Jerichos are on the offensive moving screens and stuff like that. We got to tighten some of that stuff up. But all in all, good basketball game, man. I just got to tell you something, man. Because last year during the playoffs, them Pacer fans were in here. I'm sure they're not going to come tonight. They're the worst basketball team in America. Like, they horrible. I think Marquette be about to maybe able to beat them. They're just bad. Nembhard sucks. He just flat out sucks. That dude was so great in the playoffs and all that. He had wide open three-pointers tonight, and he was short on every shot. Like, dude's just not a great basketball player. And I think if the Pacers were smart, they would have traded him while the value was high, because I don't think he's ever going to eclipse that mark again. Maybe he will if Tyrese Halliburton comes back, and maybe Halliburton is just that great of a point guard. But tonight, I was so underwhelmed with him.
Well, and it's so funny. You talk about Nembhard, and it's like that is kind of how. And again, how young is he? What is he? 20? What is he? 24? 25? 26?
Mid-20s at the oldest. Like, he can't go to 26, right?
I don't think he's that old. But I think the funny thing is, I mean, even about last year, like his numbers from 3 or whatever they were, and then in the playoffs, play the Bucks, and all of a sudden he can't miss, and those deep shots, timely 3. Like, I don't think he sucks. I think he's what you're looking for in a player, good young player. I don't know why Justin went away from me on my. Oh, there he went. But I think he's a good young player. I'm gonna go that far. But I think he definitely played above. He definitely punched above his weight class in the playoffs. And again, kudos to him. Maybe some of that is Tyrese Halliburton and how he elevates guys. To your point, I don't know. But again, there's reports that you look at the Pacers, reports are they're potentially looking to get rid of Ben Mathurin because of the contracts. And I just look at Ben Mathurin. Again, Ben Mathurin is 23. I thought Mathurin was older than that. He's 23. Like, and the fact, again, it just shows how cheap. You talk about what you want to talk about, the Pacers are trash. How cheap and pathetic that franchise is. You got a 23-year-old Ben Mathurin who I don't know what he's gonna end up being, but for a 23-year-old, like Rollins is 23. I don't want to give up Rollins. And, you know, we got him under control for the next 3 years. Like, I'd want to pay guys like that I think are gonna play well and gonna play for me in the future. And Ben Mathurin is what NBA teams are looking for, this type of player, style of player. And they looking at the price like, nah, we can't pay. It's just so whack. Same thing they did to Myles Turner. And then, of course, I got to give a shout out to the classless Indiana Pacers fan base, the bums out there in Indianapolis, where, I mean, they said that Myles, and it's for SARS, Myles Turner played for the Bucks. They said Myles Turner spent yesterday or today or whatever at some type of a clinic for children who are, have some type of health issues, whatever, in Indiana,
Osteoporosis.
osteoporosis in Indiana, just to help out the community. And you're booing that guy because you didn't want to pay him. Again, classes organization and fan base out there in Indianapolis. Do want to get the super chat? NYC Randy super chat says too much negativity all month from fans. Glad we finally got a win. Rollins and KPJ back to court are amazing. I don't care who else goes, but those two have to stay around Giannis. I would say not a fan of the names I've heard Bucks looking at. We can get to that in a second. The names that have come out, because I have some thoughts on that and kind of the framing and narratives around that. But we can get to that in a second too. But yeah, we just keep rolling here. Again, tonight this game was about Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins. They were dominant and they won a basketball game against an inferior opponent. And again, the question is, you're going to look, and coming up, you have on the 26th, you play the Grizzlies are a decent team, but then you look at, you have the Bulls after that, struggling. You have the Hornets after that, struggling. You have the Wizards after that, struggling. So my point, can you build upon this? You should get Giannis back, and I'm assuming 2-ish weeks. He was doing 3-on-3 work. As we know, the Bucks like to get him 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5. So the next logical step for him is to get to playing 5-on-5 and then getting his condition right and playing. So we're nearing the Giannis return, probably at least 2, maybe 3 weeks out. We'll see. But yeah, I think again, I'm just not ready to give up on everything about this basketball team when we've seen Giannis and KPJ play for 6 quarters together, whatever it is. And if KPJ Rollins can play at a high level, you know what Giannis is bringing. Again, I'm not saying it's a championship team, but I'm saying they can make noise, man. They can make noise. They just got to get to it.
You can see it's enough for you to see, hey, we got something we can build. It's enough but they got to get themselves in position to be able to do that. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. I know we're gonna talk trades and talk that, so I don't want to jump the gun on that. But I certainly will say that you talk about the next stretch of games we have. What we've got to get, I think, is momentum. And you can't get momentum. You win one, you drop 3, right? You win one, you got to get some momentum. Let's see if we can't stack some wins. And I think that's what, at least that's what some of the chat's saying. That's what all of us are saying. Is like, okay, now you got one, right? Let's see if we can't stack some wins and get some things going. But yeah, I won't. I got a couple thoughts on these trades here, so I wanna let me wait for us to get to that point before I just start saying.
I just think that this stuff started building in Minnesota, man. Like, we didn't play a complete 48 minutes, but you saw a lot of bright signs during a majority of that game. And it's just so funny when you talk about the state of Wisconsin of not playing the full duration of the game, but that's neither here nor there. We'll catch that shot from Trey and go ahead and slam dunk it now. But it's just building. Like you mentioned earlier, JT, Bobby is getting better. But not only that, you see Ryan Rollins being more secure with the ball. He had one dribbling mishap, but he still got to it. And he made a lot of tough shots tonight. And I see him getting his confidence back. I do agree with Doc to a sense. I don't know what energy and shots means, but I do think that AJ Green looked a lot more fluid tonight out there. And I think he's starting to get more of his comfort zone. He made, 2 of 7, 2 of 8, something like that. But the 2 that he made are good. So hopefully we'll build off of that. KPJ, just keep being yourself, man. And then we got to find a way, man. We got to find a way. I don't know if it's Van. I don't know if it's Darvin. I don't know if it's Doc, if it's Yeager or somebody. We got to find a way to unlock Myles Turner. And we can't wait for Giannis to come back until he's unlocked, though, because then you're going to be learning differently. This is a time where he is who he is, and I was hoping that he was dominating. Now, I did feel like he was pressing a little bit tonight, and I'm sure you want to press when you got a bunch of Hicks booing you the whole night when you're out there serving their community. And not only did he serve the community, guys, but he said that he was going to serve that community because that community invested in him in the beginning. So you look even dumber. But he was pressing. He was trying to do too much. But he'll get better. He just has to slow the game down a little bit. I saw a lot of aggressiveness with him even in the mid to the low block. And just keep doing that. And sooner or later, those shots will go in. But I think that, you said not championship. I just say right now we got to get in that top 10. And then when 34 comes back, the lid can pop off this joint. Who knows? The sky is the limit.
So
remember that song, JT?
I agree with you. I'll say this about Myles Turner. This is what I don't get about the booing of Myles Turner. This franchise had that man on the trade block for like 6 years. And I don't remember him not one time coming out complaining, griping about it. He put his head down. He worked. He helped this franchise get further than it had been in 20-something years. I think the Pacers, they made the finals in like 01 or something. It was 20-plus years. He helped this team get to Game 7 of the NBA Finals, farther than they've been in 20-something. I don't get that. Not to mention, this franchise routinely played in that man's face because they did have him on the trade block. I mean, he literally was on. I promise you, he was on the trade block like 5 straight seasons. I've never seen anything like that as well. But that's how they did this, man, and yet came to work and did his thing. I think at this point, I don't know what to really expect from Myles Turner, especially offense. I'm not really sure what the fit is, because maybe if we want to be optimists here, maybe the fit that we think isn't the fit that the organization thinks. Maybe they think there's a specific role or not. The tough part is when you get into the salary, you get to what he's paid and what he's doing, what we thought he was going to do, who he's replacing. It's a bit disappointing, but at this point, here's what I feel like. Let's figure out, Myles Turner, what can you do well for this team, and just give that to us consistently and see if we can't figure this out. Do we probably need more? Yes. But at least night in and night out, do what you do well. Do that consistently, and we'll build around it from there. Let's get there, because I think from a fan perspective, you're expecting so much more from Myles Turner, which is reasonable based on what you saw when you played against him. But now it's just we've got to find his fit. What is his fit? Not what we want his fit to be. What's his actual fit? How do we get that consistency out of him and go from it? Because, I mean, we're most likely we probably are stuck with him for at least this year. So we got to get the best out of Myles one way or another.
Well, again, the question there is that a Doc Rivers issue? Is Doc Rivers not getting the best out of Myles Turner? And I think the number two question is it the point guard? Is it the fact again, I hate to say, is Tyrese Halliburton that much better of a playmaker and that much better of a player that how much he elevates a guy like Myles Turner? I think again that remains to be seen. And who knows? We may not see it because I don't think Doc Rivers is going anywhere this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get him turned around, if they can get things going in the right direction. Again, I think offensively and defensively when I think about Myles Turner and what he can provide. But yeah, again, I just go back to all the good things that we thought we would see out of Rollins, that we thought we were seeing out of KPJ. And these guys they just continue. I come away impressed every single night. And again, talk about consistency. Can you do that? Can you stay consistent? Can you move this thing forward? And can you bring this team the wins they need without Giannis? Like Grace, she says it's one of the easiest stretches of the season coming up. It absolutely is. Still faces, if we can't get a winning record over the next 8 games, Giannis ain't coming back. Again, I don't know. Even his form, I just disagree with that. He might not get dealt this season, but they would shut him down. I don't think they do that. I don't think Giannis wants to be shut down. If he can play, he's going to play. If he can play, he's going to play. And I think the other thing, my last point about KPJ and Rollins, this is the level. I don't know if the doctor talk about this at all. I need that level of aggression. Talk about what they say about his shots have more energy. I need that level of aggression and energy from Rollins that actually converts to made baskets. I need him to play, because I felt like when KPJ was down and it was just Rollins running the show, Rollins knew he had to be aggressive and knew he had to go out there and score and provide spark and provide offense and all those different things. And I feel like once KPJ came back, goes back burners. And I think that's some of the reason why Doc has him on the bench. Is because it's like, hey, I want you when you come in the game, you got to be cooking, and I want him to stay aggressive throughout the game. Like that's when he is not at his best if he's just standing around trying to be AJ Green and shooting spot up threes. Like he is one of the few guys on this team that can move with the basketball, that can get into the paint, that can shoot. He's damn near a 3-level scorer. He can get inside. He has a nice little mini push off, hit that mid range, and he can hit the 3-ball. Like he is, like again we talk about Damian Lillard. Now neither KPJ or Rollins is Dame, but the level of production they bring on a night-to-night basis, they're able to replicate some of that. So yeah, I just need Rollins to stay. No matter what, when Giannis comes back, Rollins has to be aggressive. Like we can't get into this thing where we give it up and we just watch the other stars do things. Be aggressive. I heard people say, well, is Rollins a point guard? Is he a two? I don't. Whatever. Fine. If he's not the, but you don't have to You don't have to be the guy that brings the ball up to when you get the ball. If you see a lane, if you see a way to attack, you can take that. And again, there's not many guys that can do it. So he should have, quote unquote, a green light on his basketball team, especially when Giannis is not there. KPJ feels like he has the green light. I want Rollins to feel like that every single night. And tonight he did, and I thought he played well.
I thought KPJ really put us on his back tonight, man. We don't that fourth quarter when that game gets bleak, he's making some of those contested mid-range Jays and stuff like that. And for me, man, it's never about if you start the game. I always look at the 5 that finish the game because the fourth quarter is the money time. What Ryan Rollins said, money on the wood, right? That's when the money's on the wood. You can't win the basketball game in the first quarter. You damn sure can lose it, but you damn sure can win that game in that fourth quarter. And I think we won that game because of both of these guards. And not to mention about Rollins, you mentioned him a 3-level scorer. Let's not forget, he got a little bounce in that in those hops too. He had a nice little poster on somebody in Minnesota the last game. So I'm excited about these guards. I think NYC Randy was a gentleman that said it, that we don't want to see those guards included in that. I'm with that. But I'm okay with Rollins coming off that bench when Giannis comes back, because what I want him to do is the same thing KPJ did off that bench last year. Go get him, Pitbull.
Well, yeah, like I said, he absolutely is a pit bull, and he does a lot of really good things for this basketball team. It's good to have him back, 100%. Let's talk. I know we wanted to get into some of these trade discussions, or at least some of the rumors that have been coming out. Some of the names you continue to hear when you hear the Milwaukee Bucks. You hear Levine. You've heard Jeremy Grant and Rob Williams. Say again, MPJ, absolutely. Out of Brooklyn. Here's where I am on trade stuff. And here's where I am. Two things. One, I've seen a lot, and this is really just a social media thing. The first point is social media thing. Because what the report, I think we have to realize is reporters, Shams, whoever, they dramatize things for clicks, for ratings, for whatever. And one of the reports we kept hearing was the Bucks are big game hunters, and they're making big swings. They're trying to bring in. I just want people to realize and understand that's not John Horst who's out here telling people, "Hey, we swinging for the fences. We want all the big name." Because what happens is when you hear that, and then the names that the reporters throw out is Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Jeremy Grant, Rob Williams, MPJ. Those aren't big game. Nobody's shaking in their boots because you brought in Jeremy Grant. So again, so the funny thing is when they'll say that, then they'll throw the names out, and then you have people on social media who go, John Horst sucks because he thinks these are big names. No, he didn't say any of this. That's a report. Somebody else has made this claim the Bucks, yeah. What do we know? What do we know what the Bucks are doing? We know from if you aggregate reports together that the Bucks are making calls and trying to upgrade their roster. That we know. Do we sit or do we think John Horst, hey Shams, I'm looking at all the big no. He's just trying he's just calling around trying to see what he can do. They know that the Bucks are buyers. Whatever you dramatize on top of that, that's on a report to do it. But that doesn't mean the Bucks are like I just hate this refrain that like the Bucks are that they want these big names and then they give the names out and the fan base is upset about the names that are produced because that's not really fair to John Horst and the organization or what they're trying to do. Secondly, James Moore talks about Kuzma for Hunter out in Cleveland, which would be interesting. My second point on all this, and I want to hear you guys and hear discussion. I do agree these names don't intrigue me. They don't do anything for me. With the way that Kyle Kuzma is playing, I don't know that number one, I don't know that I want to give up Kuzma for a Jeremy Grant or anything like that. But two, I damn sure don't want to give up a first round pick. I don't know. I'm not giving like and the funny thing is I don't know. I fear like changing things for the sake of changing things. I'm not mortgaging a first round pick in 2031 for Jeremy Grant. And I like Jay. I think he's deep. Him and Kuz, maybe he does a couple things better. Maybe he's a little bit better. He's a better shooter. Maybe he's a little bit better of a scorer. Maybe he's a little more consistent. I can't see myself giving him a first round pick for that. I just can't. And any of it now, maybe MPJ with the way he's been playing, I'm still kind of reluctant on that too. Because I think some of that is you just got a green light to do whatever you want to do, talk crazy on podcasts, and shoot the ball. That's what MPJ is doing right now. It's not the players. I'm just reluctant to give up. I'm reluctant to mortgage any more of the future. And I guess my thing is if Giannis is putting pressure on the organization to make moves, that's fine. But they've got to be moves that actually truly upgrade. Marginal upgrades, I don't think do it for me. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the rumors that are out there and kind of how much are you willing to part with yet another first round pick, mortgaging yet even more of the future to try to make some of these upgrades? Where are you on? Maybe you guys are higher on some of these guys than I am. I don't know.
Well, look, I think that Zach LaVine, Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter, they can help us. Sure, they can help us. But my issue is more of, okay, but what are we giving up? So a little bit of what you're saying, I don't care so much about the draft pick. What I care about is I don't want to see the Bucks give up Bobby, Kuzma, and Ryan Rollins for Michael Porter Jr. Like, that to me, that's too much. That's too much. That doesn't work, right? We can't massively overpay to bring in any of the names you just mentioned. That's my whole. And I think, perfect example. Anybody who wants to throw Ryan Rollins in as a sweetener because he's on such a cheap deal. Well, if Ryan Rollins making $2 million a year, is he on $3 million a season from us?
Yeah, he just signed extension. Number one, Rollins isn't actually even available to be traded until like January. He's not available to be traded until January. So he's really not. I don't think he's really on the table. And to your point, yeah, I wouldn't. To your point, I wouldn't trade him either. But they cannot trade him until I believe it's January the 15th is his trade.
Which I mean, what's that? That's like 20 days before the trade deadline.
The deadline is February 5th, so it's more like maybe a week and a half before the deadline.
So, yeah, it's about 20, the 15th to the 5th. That's about right. Roughly 20 days out. But that's my thing is what you can't do. And you talk about Kyle Kuzma being a fit and being such a decent fit for this team and being a great role player. I would still argue the same thing about Ryan Rollins. So if we have to part with one or the other, I mean, fine. I guess we get over it. What we can't do is just start parting with. Yeah, somebody says they want Bobby and Kuzma. Okay, so what are we getting back in return? Do you give up Bobby and Kuzma to get a Michael Porter Jr.? think that still creates issues. You see what I'm saying? I think that still creates issues. Okay, well, then who's your backup? Like, I don't know if I like that. The other thing though is Kevin Porter Jr. off the table. If I'm the Bucks, I am not. You're not getting KPJ from us. Sorry, I'm not giving him up. I'm not. Like that. That's not happening either. So, out of our key trade pieces, I think you really, if you were going to trade, we have Kuzma, Bobby, Rollins. Those seem to be.
I don't think I really don't think Rollins is on. I would be shocked if the Bucks were to trade. I really don't think he's. I think the only way Rollins on the table is if it would have to be an absolute game changer, and none of those names listed. Like I mean, to your point, everybody has a price. There's a price. Yes, nobody's untouchable, and Ryan Rollins is not untouchable. But to be touched, when you talk about Rollins, you'd have to start. And again, I wouldn't be sold on this, but the names to do something like that. You got to start talking Anthony Davis. You got to start talking a different level of player before we get to what am I willing to give up on young talent?
So here's my point. My point though is this: the Bucks we talk about the Bucks seem to pay a tax for trades. We talk about the Bucks. We talk about the Bucks tax. Teams stick it to the Bucks when it comes down to trading. If you look at Ryan Rollins and the growth and the leap that he's shown this year, and then you look at how cheap his contract is, I could see a world where teams where we're trying to trade, they want Ryan Rollins as a kicker. They 100% want us to throw him in there. And I'm confident that Horst would say absolutely not, right? Not just because he's too valuable to see how he plays, but also that contract is cheap. Look, if it's cheap for me, it's cheap for you, right? Like, why would I give up Ryan Rollins right now? Would y'all say has the best contract in the NBA? The most team favorable contract in the NBA?
Yeah, I'd have to look, but I mean, it's a very good deal for a 23-year-old. That again, I hate to put that S word that I hate to start throwing because I don't know, but the trajectory at 23, right? He's tough. He's tough. And that's what
I'm saying. And would you argue that Kyle Kuzma has one of the worst contracts in the NBA?
I don't know if I'd argue he has one of the worst. One of the worst. Kyle Kuzma is one of the worst. It ain't good. Yeah, it's negative value. I wouldn't argue this is one of the worst.
Either way, it's both ends of the spectrum. You have one contract that's great. You have one that's iffy. And quite honestly,
Myles Turner looked like he.
That's what I was going to say. And then quite honestly, if you look at Myles Turner's contract, either the production you're getting right now, there's questions. There's questions about that too. So these are all factors that you got to think about when it comes to making a move. I mean, I don't know. When is Myles Turner eligible to be traded?
He was eligible as of December 15th. He's eligible.
15th, right. So is there a world in which we come up off Turner? If maybe somebody wants it. Maybe somebody sees it as a better fit. Maybe. I don't know. But my point though was that all the names you mentioned, I'm not hearing a single name that's worth us overpaying and giving up significant capital to get. If somebody wants Bobby or Kuzma and a pick, or somebody wants that, I mean, okay, but to start giving up 2 out of 3 of those guys to get any of these guys, I don't know about that, man. I just think that we would need to really make sure we're getting commensurate value in return. And as of now, out of those names mentioned, I don't see. I'm not seeing that if we're giving up any of the players that I previously mentioned, combinations of any of the players that I previously mentioned.
So for me, the trade that I saw was the one you posted earlier that at least got my antlers up a little bit, pun intended. What was it? Wiggins, Jeremy Grant, and Kispert, I believe.
Yeah, Corey Kispert, yeah.
And I don't know what it would take to. I would assume we were getting all 3.
No, I think those were just names. I don't think that was like a trade that got all 3. I think those were just individual names. Is what I took from that.
Okay, so I would like to see Kispert. I mean, he's a guy that's going to knock down those shots anywhere around that perimeter. But I mean, I'm going back to what JT said though. What are you giving up to get them? I think for Kispert, it's going to be something like AJ Green. And to me, that's almost like the same player.
For the record, AJ Green is, and to James Moore too, AJ Green is actually ineligible to be traded for the rest of the. He cannot be traded until next year.
Okay. Well, he's the same type of player what AJ Green is my point. So this is where I struggle with, man, because I see Kuzma playing better, I see Bobby playing better, and we still haven't seen this thing get a go with Giannis with this team healthy. So what I would like to see is I would like to see Giannis come back, and I would almost wait. You said February 5th?
Correct.
I probably wouldn't make a move until like the 28th of January.
Here's what I'll throw back to you, though, Justin. You say you wouldn't make a move to the 28th of January. What if you continue losing? That makes sense. If you can go 5-3 in the next 8 or 6-2 in the next, if you can, but if you lose to Memphis, and then you lose to Charlotte, and then you lose to the Bulls, and if you continue to pile up losses, the more desperate you get. So I think you're right. It works if they can right the ship. But my question to you is, what if you keep losing?
You know, my glass.
You say what? Go ahead, Justin.
I say my glass is always half full, so I don't think we're gonna keep losing.
No, okay. No, hold on. I'll give you that. You don't think it. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the scenario. You've lost 5 you lose 5 of the next 8. You've got to make, at some point, you can't wait till February the 5th and February 3rd, 4th and make this move. Like, you've got to do something, is what I would think. So if you lose, so I'm telling you, we hit in the next 8 games, you lose 6 of them. What are you doing? Because you're getting dangerously close to it being over before Giannis even gets back.
If we lose 6 in this next team in the next 8, I think everybody on the roster minus 3 guys is up to be traded. I mean, I forgot who said it in the chat, but this is probably the weakest 8-game stretch we're about to go to. We gotta go 6-2, 5-3. 5-3 has to be the low mark. And the only team that I think that we should truthfully lose to maybe would be Memphis. But if you're talking about moving to KPJ or Ryan Rollins, and I don't even want this dude in Milwaukee, but like you said, it got to be big name. It got to be and if you're moving Myles, it got to be somebody like Bam Adebayo coming back, in my opinion.
You're not getting no Bam Adebayo for Myles Turner.
If you're moving Myles Turner and KPJ, I need Bam coming back. And throw in a couple other players. Like, I think it's a bad look if we do all this press, and I've said it before, for Myles, and we talk about snatching them for Indy, and then we're like, oh, man, well, we're 35% through this season. It's not looking well, so let's go ahead and send him on and try to get someone else in. Guys aren't going to want to come here if we continue to do that. I don't care if 34 is here or not. So we gotta figure out a way to get 34 back on this court, at least go 2 or 3 games with these guys playing together and see if we get some cohesion going and hopefully get back to the 6th seed by Martin Luther King Day.
So this stretch of the next 8 games, I agree with you guys. This is everything. This is, as of now, this is the most important stretch of the season here, because you're 100% right. If the losses pile up, you've got to be willing and open to making some moves here to do something if you want to try to compete this year. And we've already got questions about whether or not we can really make this thing work between a few different things that we've seen as well as of right now. Are guys responding? Are they resonating? Are they not? Like Trey said, they're inclined to keep Doc, but you're gonna have to make moves. If the next 8 games, like the previous 8 games, you're gonna have to make moves. There's no question about that. You're definitely gonna have to do something to try to get some sort of momentum here, unless you're comfortable chalking up this season. But I'll say this, and this is from negotiating contracts and doing his day job and everything else. Time kills deals. So if you do have a deal on the table that works and makes your team better, waiting you may end up playing yourself if you do wait too long, and you have something you got a great framework agreed to as well. So I agree with you, Justin. I want to see Giannis. I want to see how this team gels. But on the same note, I got to look at what we're doing lately too. And if there are some guys that we can move, somebody's willing to give us something fair, and we can upgrade and make our team better, then John Horst 100% has to be open to that.
Daryl Clayton with Super Chat. He says, "What about the Cavs blow it up for Mitchell or Garland? James Moore replied and said that Garland is great as he is. I'm not certain I would take. I don't think that Garland is again. I don't need another point guard. I think, and that's funny. That's those are guys that are available. The Cam Thomases, the Darius Garland, who we know that the Cavs want to give up potentially. Like, I don't know that I need another point guard. It's gonna be a $25 million guy. And again, because Darius Garland, I might as well roll with KPJ and give him that money later on if because he's a free agent. If we're doing that, but so Garland, no. I mean, Mitchell's a different. I don't think they're ready to go that far. But they are. It does seem like a team that's going to be on the market and looking to make some moves. FIPX 2381 says, "What realistic piece can the Bucks get to win now?" And I think again, that's your question. Is the broader question to that to me is it a move around the perimeter? Instead of this a big change into the middle of the lineup with key players? Is it more that because I go back to one of the best moves Horse made, which was what's man who they got for KPJ?
Beauchamp.
Beauchamp. Is it something like do you find a stupid team to take Andre Jackson Jr. and say, "Ooh man, he could play," and get again? Think about the two guys we're talking about. Problem guys, right? Rollins, who was still not a target, and then KPJ, who do you find somebody somebody might be done with, who has some talent, and you can bring that person in and they look to upgrade your roster. I don't know. I just don't. I'll say this to answer your question. I think that I'm looking at this Clippers game. Are they when you talk about because you guys keep talking about making moves KPJ or Ronson again? I just don't think you're gonna bring like the names that we bringing back is like a Harden, like a Kawhi Leonard. I'm just saying those are names you have to get into if you're talking about giving away our second and third best players on the team. I'm not ready and willing to do that. So you have to be kind of around the perimeter and it's like, what does this team need? Where are the guys that are available that are 3-and-D and maybe have fallen out of rotation or just more defensive minded players? You like I said, like Keon Ellis, but Sacramento wants a first round pick for him. Like I'm not. You're just not doing that. I just think it's gonna be interesting to see who blinks first, who's bluffing with some of this stuff because the price points on some of these players. I mean, I just wait to see like where a real domino falls, and somebody decides to make moves and what that's actually worth. And I think that's what will kind of set and dictate some of the market.
Do you think Andre Jackson Jr. is enough to get Kispert from Washington? I mean,
it wouldn't be. Well, I don't know what their what his number. I'd have to look at what the contracts look like on that, and if they'd have a interest in moving him to do something like that, but probably not. But
so one thing I'll say this with trades too. It's one thing to look at it 2K style. It's another thing to look at it as a fit.
Right.
Personally, I don't want James Harden or Kyrie or Kawhi Leonard in that building. And I'm good. I don't. Y'all can call me crazy if you want to. I don't want neither one of them dudes. I'm not saying that they're on the table. I'm not saying that's a possibility. The Clippers are going absolutely nowhere. The Clippers are one of the worst teams in basketball right now. I don't want either one of those. I don't want either one of those dudes anywhere near our locker room. And so I say all that to basically say that I care a bit more about fit, and just because it's a big name doesn't mean it's an actual fit for us. And I hope that's something that people keep in mind as fans too before we start.
But as this, JT, talking about fit, your fit right now has gotten you. What's the record? What are we 12 and what's the record? You're 12 and 18.
12 and 18.
So whatever you're doing, your fit ain't working.
Right, but I'm not just looking for. I'm just not looking to this season. I think if we're going to give up capital, if we're going to give up some pieces here, then we at least need to be looking for a return that spreads at least I would imagine hopefully a few years. You do not what you don't want.
See, I don't. And my thing about that, I don't. I get what you're saying. I don't think the organization is looking 3-4. I think they because again, the only guarantee they have from Giannis is to. I think, and from all the moves they make, they don't have this luxury of this 3 to 4 year outlook on what's going. They have. We need to play well this year to convince Giannis to stay next year.
I mean,
That's the mindset that they are in.
I feel that. I 100% feel that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to make a trade for someone, hey, this year, next year, at least a few years too. Well, wait a minute. I think you're saying they need to go all in on this year, and I get that. But I would also be looking at I'm not giving up everything in the world to try to go all in this year, and then I got nothing next year. I got nothing in the world. Like, I'm not going to trade for guys with a bunch of expiring contracts and overpay just for this season to try to convince him to stay, and then I'm stuck holding the bag next year and the year after that. Like, no. I need give me somebody here who could also be potentially, if we got to blow this thing up at the end of the season, and let's say we keep Giannis and we turn in everybody else, give me somebody else who could stay here too. Give me somebody else who we say, okay, let's build around with him too. Let's make him one of these core pieces of what this team looks like moving forward.
I tell you one thing, as being a Packers fan and watching that man Aaron Rodgers, you keep pushing it down the line. At some point, you got to pay the piper. And that's why I agree with JT. We can't push it down forever. It has to be a right move. I think that, crazy tape, I think that after Giannis and backcourt guys, I think Kuzma's our best player on this basketball team right now. He's your Swiss Army knife. He does everything. If you look tonight, he was checking Siakam.
Yeah.
We talked about him checking Doncic. He'll check anybody. And you guys like that are 6'8" with the wingspan, that can rebound, that can steal the ball, that can block, they just aren't readily available in the NBA. Looked up Kispert's contract. It's 4 years, $54 million. I think that pretty much puts him out the ballpark for Ajax and
Yep, no. To do that, that means you're doing something. He'd be replacing that's like a Bobby kind of money on a year to year that you'd be looking at to and I don't know that solves. Kispert doesn't solve any real issue that the Bucks have, because again, you're looking at rebounding, you're looking at you're looking at guys. You need rebounding, you need defense, and you need guys that can do that on the perimeter with 6'7", 6'8" type of players. Right. Like a PJ Tucker would be great if if a young PJ Tucker would be great on his basketball team. Another guy, Dylan Brooks, would be phenomenal on this team. I don't know that the Suns have any thought process of doing anything like that, but those are the type of guys that like really could impact. I feel like this team.
What's he getting? $20 million a season?
Yeah, Dylan signed a 4-year, $86 million contract in 2023.
Yeah. Okay.
But my question: if you were able to get, would you do? If you had to give a first round pick, would you do that? Would you do? Because that's kind of Kuzma money. Would you do Kuzma in a first round for Dylan Brooks and maybe something else that the Suns have kind of on the margins? Is he that much? And is he that much of an upgrade over Kyle Kuzma to try to make that work money wise?
I think I would shy away from Kuzma, and I would go Bobby and something else. But I need like Dylan Brooks, and then for giggles, because we're gonna need a backup 4 or 5. Homer and me, Iguodaro back too. And if we get rid of Bobby, we gotta have the 4 to 5. I love the tenacity. I love I hate Dylan Brooks. And that's the type of guy we need on the Bucks, right? When Bobby Portis was a Wizard, when he was a Knick, I hated him because he did all that. But now I like him because he does that chop wood, carry water stuff when he's going the right way on his team. And Brooks is a dog. And he's going to piss off. Like, we talk about Halliburton and those guys. Oh, I couldn't wait for him to get healthy and come back and play against the Pacers with Dylan Brooks on this team. I think we should have signed him as a free agent when the opportunity arose, but we did not. I got a curveball for y'all when we get done with this trade stuff too, because we talked a lot about Doc and him being the right fit too. So
I think I would, for your Dylan Brooks question, I would do this. I do Kuzma, and I throw in Kuzma and Andre Jackson Jr. before we try to give up. I try to see if we can do something like that before we give up that first round pick. Because I think what you're saying, like you said earlier, Chad, you want to try to hang on to that first. I mean, it's 2031, which is a ways away. But I'd be willing to try to throw in another player or something before, if that would work. But I mean, look, in a perfect world, you could do Dylan Brooks for Kyle Kuzma straight up.
No, you couldn't.
In a perfect world,
you gotta
give a little bit more something to get Brooks back. At least another player at the minimum.
Yeah. I don't even think that's an option. I'm just thinking that somebody like that could.
But the other thing is, you remember we gave up all them damn picks for Jay Crowder?
We have 5 second-round picks for Jay Crowder. Yeah.
We gave up 5 second-round picks, and when did Jay Crowder play well for us?
Still waiting.
Yeah, he didn't.
Right. I'm saying, like, Jay Crowder, my recollection is we gave up all them damn picks, and then he got here. He hadn't played for the Suns in 6 months. Then he was hurt. Then the next year, then he was hurt. Right. So I'm cautious to just all of a sudden just start giving up massive amounts of draft capital for somebody. I mean, which we don't have in the first place here. But that's just something I've always been cautious about since then. Is we got to be pretty selective with the players that we're giving up a ton of our picks for, even though on the flip side, we're not going to do nothing with them anyway. But,
right. Well, I think the big piece would be if you had some type of if the Wizards really buy out Chris Middleton, if you could get him on, because nothing wrong with Chris Middleton. His issue was I would not pay him $30 million to do what he did. But Chris, if he's bought out and you're paying him a minimum to come off the bench and give you 15, you tell me you wouldn't rather have Chris Middleton than Gary Harris checking in the damn game?
So wait a minute. So let me ask you this question: if you bring Chris in, let's say you bring Chris in, I don't think if you pick him up this year, you can't sign him. If you buy him out, or if he's a buyout candidate and he hits the market, can you sign him to a deal longer than the rest of this year?
I don't know if you. I don't think you can sign him to a deal longer than the rest of this. Yeah. I don't know. No, I think you just be signing for the rest of the year. No, we don't. We don't have any space. It'd just be for the rest of the year.
So one question I would ask about picking up Chris Middleton, and I would ask Giannis, what impact does that make on Giannis's long-term thinking of staying in Milwaukee? If Chris is a buyout candidate and the Bucks bring him back in the building, would that have any bearing on Giannis staying in Milwaukee?
Might be able to get Drew too.
Well, again, Drew would just be you'd have to trade for Drew. They're not gonna buy him out, but again, that guy could be on the table if you. And I believe Drew makes like $30 million, so you definitely be giving up a lot to get Drew. I can't remember. Don't quote me on how much he makes. I'd have to check it, but he makes a considerable amount. But yeah, no, that because I think you're gonna still need a 6'6", 6'8", 6'7". You still need some of those type players. I think you're just trying to get somebody better than Gary Harris and Amir Coffey. And says with James Worth, I have no interest in Middleton. Again, so I ask you, do you like Gary Harris better than Chris Middleton? That's my question. And I don't. I would still choose Chris Middleton over Gary Harris any day of the week. Any day.
And Amir Coffey.
Chris Middleton. They both suck. Chris Middleton can come in and his issue is how much he play. Again, I'm not saying you play. You're not bringing Chris to come in and play 30 minutes a game. You bring him to play 15 minutes to play off the bench, hit shots, and to at least be sick, to have that same type of size that you don't really have. So I would 100% be interested. And that's what's so funny because everybody would say, "Oh, you hate Chris Middleton." I hated Chris Middleton at $30 million. I don't hate Chris Middleton at a minimum. No, I don't hate him at all for a minimum.
Yeah, it was a combination of salary and what you needed him to do when he was here, which is why he had to go. But coming back, it's a significantly reduced role. It's a significantly reduced salary. We needed Chris Middleton to play pretty much every night when he was here, and that couldn't happen.
Right, and
And it
that's
just
right.
there
That's
was
what you got
long
Kyle
stretches.
Kuzma for, to play every night, to come in and play 25, 30 every single night, to be able to do that. Yeah, you have that, and yeah, I was gonna say honestly, yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be interesting if you could, because again, his other guy that you're missing, this 6'8" or whatever, is Torian Prince, who's no longer there. So you're
Is
and the
there is
Bucks.
there an update on Torian Prince?
I know the Bucks filed for a disabled player exception.
Yeah.
And I think that means you had to have an independent doctor say that he's not gonna be able to play before June.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, I don't know what that looks like, or where they are in that process. But just to go ahead, we like I said, we talk about trades every single night, and like I said, that's not going anywhere until we get some more information. So again, it's all good discussion. But Justin, you said you had something, and then we'll go to Twitter, and then we'll kind of start to wind this thing down.
Yeah, speaking of Twitter, the Wisconsin kid, one of our favorites, shot me an inbox the other day.
Okay.
It's a typical fire doc. And I always ask people, and I ask y'all in the chat when y'all say fire doc, I ask everybody, when you fire doc, what is the succession plan here? He posed one to me, and I feel like out of everything that I've heard this year, this is probably one of the better ones that I've heard. So what he wants to do is he wants to fire Doc Rivers. That's hard for me to say. And let Darvin Ham coach the rest of the season out. Once the season is done, bring in Sam Cassell as your head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. What say you, gentlemen?
Um, I would say if you did fire Doc, you would have to go with Doc. You couldn't bring in like a Mike Malone. I wouldn't bring in somebody else to run an actual coaching search. So I agree with that. I just don't think firing Doc Rivers does. Like if you fire Doc, I wouldn't do it before February 5th, because I wouldn't because I wouldn't want Giannis
You
to
cannot fire Doc Rivers during the season. You cannot fire guys. Listen, you cannot fire Doc Rivers during the season. There is no there. I do not see a world where you could fire Doc Rivers this season without it being a complete utter disaster. I mean, guys, we've done this before. We've seen how this movie played out when we got rid of Dr. Griffin. You cannot fire. Absolutely not. And I get it. Listen, I got questions about Doc being the coach of this team. I do, but right now, this is a marriage. Right now, you cannot fire Doc Rivers right now. Now, personally, I wouldn't mind kind of seeing what Darvin Ham has. I think Darvin Ham. I think he got a bit of a raw deal out in LA. I do. I think he got a bit of a raw deal out with the Lakers. And would they replace my man? Would they replace him with the podcast? Come on, they replaced Darvin Ham with the podcast. Come on, man. Like y'all playing right now. Yeah, they replaced Darvin Ham with JJ Redick. Yeah, I would like to see what Darvin Ham, because I think Darvin Ham is a decent coach. I think he got a raw deal out in LA. So maybe your successor is on your bench. But that said, I would be strongly against firing Doc in season at this point. You cannot do that. That never works out.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to fire him either. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious with who I am. I definitely agree with you as far as found in the middle of the season. Not only Dr. Griffin, but don't forget about Jason Kidd when we had Joe Prunty lead this team. But I just wanted to commend him because I thought at least he had a succession plan, and it kind of fit the narrative of what Giannis looks for in a guy that played, and then Sam Cassell being the Bucks legend. And I think Sam's one of your better. I think Sam, Dudley are some of your better assistant coaches in the league that deserve a shot at the head coach. But I don't know, man. Can y'all see my shirt? I remember this dude, Sidney Moncrief, told me that Doc Rivers is a good basketball coach, and I'm going to ride with Sid the Squid. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, he lied. That's okay.
I mean, no, Doc Rivers is no question. Doc Rivers is a good basketball coach. Is he a good basketball coach for the Bucks? Is the question?
No. He was a good basketball coach. He is no longer, but he was a good basketball coach. Two Red Violins says, please stop saying we can't fire Doc during the season. This team is not a serious organization if they keep him. If the Bucks continue to lose games. And again, Two Red Violins, We can say you can't fire Doc during the season. Again, if you want to argue that they shouldn't have hired him, that's fine. That's fine. Firing coaches in the middle of the season does not work. And it's the only, we say it all the time, the only example people give of it working was in Cleveland when they fired David Blatt and they brought on Ty Lue. And if that's the example you have to keep giving me every single time, then that's the exception to the rule. And we can't go with the exception. The rule is the rule. The exceptions are the exceptions. It doesn't work. It just does. It doesn't work.
Who was that fired their coach 2 years ago and the team made it to, like, was it Denver?
Yeah.
Or Memphis? A couple years ago, they fired their coach like a week before the season ended, or a week and a half, 2 weeks before the season ended. Was that Memphis?
That was Memphis. Yeah.
Second round of the playoffs, and everybody was like, "Wow, they don't even got a coach right now." And they're still there, but that's a different scenario altogether than firing your coach now in December.
Yeah. It just wouldn't work. I'd be just as against it as I was with Adrian Griffin, and again, I'm not even a Doc fan, but I just don't think it would. I just don't think it would work. All right, let's go to Twitter. Keep this thing moving here. See what Twitter had to say about the dub tonight. Shaq B94 says KPJ and Ryan Rollins showing why they're top 8 backcourt in the NBA. Two-way shot creators can play on, off ball. Bobby's on fire and playing just enough defense to get a Bobby Porter plus picks MPJ trade. Treating Myles Turner like a 7-foot Ryan Anderson is dumb. He should be rolling more. Fourth option, Kuz, is fun. At Drew Barron says, no such thing as a gimme game. This Bucks squad, so it's good to see him take care of business. Hopefully tonight's the end of stupid Rollins on the bench shit. At Twin for Life 09 says Gary Harris was solid. At Sunk45 said also, do the Pacers medical staff put some elixir or something in the players' drinks whenever we play them? I mean, almost every time we get some sort of injury. At Bobby Portis says Bucks tried to blow it, but the Indy tank rolls on. Needed that with New Orleans playing well. Sympathy MVP says we done with Turner. Rob E Digital says happy holidays. And let's do last one. E Ryan 99 says F them Pacers. So yeah, that's good stuff. Game balls tonight. Where we going? Game balls. Some good options tonight with the game balls. Where you going? JT, you start with you.
I'm going Kevin Porter Jr. Thought he played well. Man, again, just Kevin Porter Jr. was a close one because I was going to give it to Bobby, especially for his first 5-game stretch and being there. But Kevin Porter Jr. gets my game ball tonight. Again, for those of y'all who just joined the show, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists tonight, 8 for 13 from the field, 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Kevin Porter Jr., enjoy your game ball, sir.
I'm kind of torn too. You know, obviously I was thinking about Bobby. But I'm about to go to my guy Ryan Rollins, man. Double R. Played a great basketball game. No turnovers is a huge thing. I think where we get into trouble with Ryan is where he turns the ball over a lot. Thought Bobby played well. And one thing I want to say about Bobby, even though I should give him a half a game ball, but that assist he had to Jericho Sims, it's a thing of beauty. In the first half where Sims got the dunk. But I'm going to go Ryan Rollins, man. Man, it's just phenomenal to watch that kid play. When we needed buckets, it was either him or KPJ giving it to us. We had an opportunity. Someone mentioned it on Twitter where we almost gave it away. The reason why we didn't give it away, because tonight we had the best backcourt on the floor. Nim Fart and sorry McConnell. Terrible boy. Played at a terrible university who could not beat the University of Wisconsin. I said what I said. A.K.A. Ryan Rollins. A.K.A. I'm going to keep shooting if I want to. Because they just don't go in sometimes.
Wait a minute. How I catch a stray about TJ McConnell? Come on, man.
Hey, Trey started this BS tonight throwing strays at both of us with the football, so I'm just carrying the torch.
How I catch a stray about an Elite 8 game 15 years ago?
Because we still got to remember that Bronson Koenig is better than him. But anyways, AKA the only thing I was stealing tonight was TJ McConnell's lunch money.
Okay. There we go. I'm a roll with you. I'm gonna go Ryan Rollins as well. 23, 7, 4, 1 steal, 1 block, 10 of 15, 2 of 5 for the 3-point line. No turnovers. I like the fact that he had 7 rebounds. I like all my guards. Rollins with 7 rebounds, KPJ 6 rebounds. But I'm gonna go Rollins tonight. Thought he played well. Ryan Rollins with the game ball for me, AKA Double R. Call me a Rolls Royce, AKA. Hey, wait, where that boy from?
The D.
What up, though? What up, though? AKA, I had to do some last minute shopping. Had to go to Walmart because they don't let me in the Targets. AKA, light skin assassin, baby. Here we go, Ryan Rollins with the game ball over here.
I can brush my hair forward. I can brush it backwards. Ain't nobody sure trust me anyway. I got you. I understand
that. Let's look around the league tonight. It was 111-94. Bucks beat the Pacers. Magic are up 13 over the Blazers right now. Blazers 12-17. They're about to go 12-18 again. A team that we talked about. Is that a team that's gonna blow it up with their guys? That could be available. Jeremy Grant is out tonight. Rob Williams didn't play tonight. Drew Holiday also has a calf issue. So again, the Portland Trailblazers are really starting to look like a team. Not only they look like a team that could be ready to blow it up. They're in the West. They're 12-17, but also they have a history with the Bucks as far as trades. So I think you could definitely see some movement there. Pistons up 15 over the Kings. Clippers are up right now over the Rockets. I've been watching that game. It's on the cock. They're going back and forth right there. Clippers and Rockets. They got 18 from Kawhi Leonard, 11 from James Harden right now. It's a good game, up 5. Hornets beat the Wizards. Hornets are 10-20. Let's see what your boy did. Chris Middleton, 16 points in 21 minutes. Okay. AJ Johnson, 2 minutes, didn't score. The Brooklyn Nets beat the 76ers tonight, 114-106. Joel Embiid, I don't know. I didn't see anything after. I did see him fall out. I don't know what he always got some knee issues, so I don't know what's up with him. Bulls beat the Hawks tonight. What happened?
Worst contract in the NBA is probably Embiid's.
Yeah, it's terrible. Bulls beat the Hawks 126-123. Another guy, you talk about contracts. The Hawks have got to be getting ready to get rid of Trae Young. The Hawks have been rolling. Trae Young comes back. All of a sudden, they start losing again. They lose to the Bulls tonight. He did have 22 and 15 assists. But, again, the Atlanta Hawks now a game under 500. Cavs get a win tonight over the Pels. Raptors beat the Heat. Heat going in the wrong direction, man. A lot of games tonight. Mavericks beat the Nuggets 131-130. Timberwolves beat the Knicks. Another game, interesting. Spurs. I thought the Thunder were can't nobody beat the Thunder. 130-110. Spurs beat the Thunder by 20 tonight. Let's see what Victor Wembanyama. Oh, and Wemby only had 12 points. 12 and 5. No steals, no blocks. So that's a big win. 20 points from Harrison Barnes. 24 from Castle. That's a big one. 25 from Kevin Johnson. That's a good win from them. Suns beat the Lakers tonight. Grizzlies beat the Jazz 137-128 as well. Yeah, okay. That's a look around from the league. Anything else you guys want to get at before we call it a night as we rapidly approach Christmas Eve on the East Coast?
One thing you forgot in that Rockets-Clippers game is KD has 17 at the half as well. He's balling his brains out too. Hey, I got a quick question so we can all go to bed. Y'all got any interest in Trae Young? And the reason why I asked that question, I think he's one of the best pick-and-roll point guards in the league, and that's where Turner came from playing with, and I think Giannis would benefit tremendously from that.
Isn't that contract massive?
Oh, for sure.
That's what I was going to say. Trae Young getting 50 M's a year, right?
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
Yeah, Trae Young would be. I think Trae Young would be like if you were to trade if you had to trade Giannis, which that's probably the more conversation you'd have. Like, would you take back a Trae Young type of deal? I don't think the Bucks have anything to be able to trade with for him, but I wouldn't do it anyway. Like somebody said in the chat, James Moore said Rayford Trae Young just isn't a winning player.
You got to be careful calling these brothers by their government. You might get punched.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about that one too.
What's Trae Young's real name?
Rayford.
Hey, real quick, JT, he's 216 million.
He got to be from the South.
$216 million over 5 years is his contract.
Yeah, so see that is a I mean 216 over 5, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 43 a year.
Yeah, he yeah, I just don't think I think he's kind of like LaMelo. I just don't think he's a winning player. You talked about it for a second. DK Metcalf. What do you think about DK Metcalf not punching that fan? He said it was a slur. The fan says he just called him his regular name. And then I think the other interesting piece of that is because DK Metcalf missed the game due to suspension, he voided was like $20-some million.
Significant percentage. The number I saw was closer to potentially closer to 40 million voided in guarantees. So the Steelers must have known. I mean, and DK, this ain't the first time he's a spicy guy. DK got some anger issues. You saw that before when he was in Seattle. But, my thing is, fans know this. You know whose skin you can get under as a fan. Because you could have yelled something crazy at Rodgers the whole time, he wouldn't have acknowledged you. You could have yelled something crazy at a lot of different guys, and he wouldn't acknowledge you. But somehow, you got the right one that day, right? You got the right one. You got DK Metcalf, and this is going to cost DK. Listen, man. Now this is going to sound crazy, but usually when this type of thing goes down, what happens that next day? They interview that fan and what they got on, that neck brace.
Yeah,
they got that neck brace on for dramatic effect. And just because that neck brace means I'm getting paid for this.
Oh, and I'm suing the NFL too. Forget DK. I'm suing the NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all didn't have proper security. I'm suing the NFL. Where are they at? They were in Detroit. Oh yeah, I'm suing Ford Field. I'm suing. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I think the DK, you got to have better control over your emotions. And quite honestly, people say whatever it is you got to be able. My bad, fellas. You got to be able to tune that out. You just got to be able to tune that out. You've got to be able to lock in and not engage with that. I hate to say it, but you got to look the other way. You can't go, what's my man's name that went up and socked my man in the Vernon Maxwell?
Yes.
Y'all remember when Vernon Maxwell ran up in the – I mean, I didn't remember live, but I've seen it on YouTube where Vernon Maxwell ran up in the stands and socked that man. Yeah, you cannot do that. You cannot have that. And I think that's the league's biggest fear. And unfortunately, maybe this guy did say a slur to DK, or maybe they called him what's his first, Dakarist or whatever. Maybe they called him by his first name. Either way, DK, you got to learn how to tune that out. Look the other way. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and unfortunately, in this case, it sounds like it did.
So you see a lot of moving parts with this story. First of all, if he called the guy a racial slur, he should be banned. Kind of like the guy that called Marcus Smart a racial slur when he's playing at Oklahoma State. He ran up in the crowd too, if you remember that back in the day.
Yep.
If he didn't call him a racial slur and he said he did, that's terrible on DK. And then I'm sure it'll be something with mental health coming down the line as well, because that's just what we tend to do when we make bad decisions in this world now. And I'm not saying mental health isn't something that's real, but you can't use mental health as your scapegoat of why you're doing bad things. However,
again, DK's problem ain't mental health. He got to get his soul right. You angry, bro. You were angry. You've been spicy this whole time. I don't know that ain't a mental health issue. There's something wrong with you. You gotta get right. You gotta go ahead and read that good book every night before bed, and when you wake up, you gotta do something.
I don't know if you saw Trey's guy Tazim on Twitter. He had a comment about it. Trey's fellow Bison brother. I see the Howard hat. Shout out to the real HU. So Tazim said that he has sat somewhere in his vicinity, and he believes the gentleman may be some form of special needs. I don't want to be inappropriate here, which that
I
makes it even
think
worse.
Tazim take one and no one.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Why? Why are you doing this? You're not right. You're not
So-
right. You don't do that. I
Oh
am
my
not. You're
God.
not right. Oh,
So if that is true that the
man,
guy is
come on, man. No. I am not going. Nah. We not. I'm not gonna, come on. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
He's unhinged.
That ain't right. That ain't right. You know, if
but if he is
the guy had special needs, the guy had issues. I mean, either way, that's fine. Problem though with DK is that you let that anger build, and you let yourself do that. You were not smart enough to walk away. And I don't care. This guy was not a threat to you. You were not in fear of your life, personhood, or anything, right? You were offended. And I'll tell you what we learned in criminal law, what we learned in torts, right? Merely being offended is not an offense.
Well,
that's not a defense.
Yeah, and what we know about employment law, even if you have some type of mental issue, whatever, that's not an excuse for bad behavior. There is no, tell you about leading the comment. There is no accommodation for bad behavior. There is none.
He didn't even have to walk away though. Like, how many times have we seen LeBron say, "Hey, get that fan out of here"? We've seen this guy do it. He could have simply pointed to security and watched him be escorted out and laughed at the dude as he was escorted out. Matt LaFleur did it to the fan that was doing the gesture to him.
Yeah.
So you just got all these people, and I don't know what the gentleman said. My only point about if he was some type of special needs on the spectrum, whatever the case may be, it makes it even worse on DK if that's the case. But JT, you're right. Walk away, get security, something like that.
DK said you still catch these hands. That's the problem. But DK said, I don't care what you want. I got something for you. That's DK's issue. But no, I agree with you. I'm sorry. DK just first team all pissed off, brother. DK Metcalf is the hostile black man. Let's be clear here. That's 100% the role he plays. He is the angry one. He up there with Russell Westbrook, two of the angriest folks.
Can't get right.
But at least Russ kicks him out. The other thing that's so selfish about it, you got 2 games left. You're in a dogfight with the Baltimore Ravens to try to win this division.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in the midst of a dogfight with the Detroit Lions at the time. And you should be over there talking to Rodgers or the rest of the guys getting right. But you slapping some dude with a blue wig on.
Yeah. It's a bad look. There's no question. What'd you guys think of? Did you just see last night Draymond Green going at Steve Kerr and then leaving he just left. He went into the locker room. Did come back to the bench, but then Kerr elected not to play him for the rest of the game. Another guy who just always angry.
Oh, he's up there too. Oh yeah, no, he 100% is the angry. Right? But he be instigating. I don't know what he got something wrong with him too. Draymond.
Yeah.
I guess I give him kudos from walking away versus staying there and doing something stupid like getting yourself suspended for 2 games. It cost yourself $45 million. But hey, these dudes, like, Draymond is so calm and collected on his podcast to an extent and stuff like that. You got to calm it down, because as you age in this world, and Chris Paul found it out the hard way, and your athletic prowess leaves you,
mm-hmm.
You can't be the problem anymore. I think we talked about that with CP3. So Draymond, you either got to tone it down, or you gonna be podcasting with CP3 soon.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I 100% agree with that. It's like it just wears on people after a while. And the other thing about Draymond and CP3 is you're supposed to be seen as a leader, and like you can't be seen as a leader and be on BS too. You can't be a leader and be on that nonsense too. Y'all know I am biased when it comes to the situation. Steve Kerr, fellow Wildcat, y'all already know. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Steve is definitely not the problem, right? I'm gonna say Steve is definitely not the problem in this confrontation or in this issue. But what I will also say is, between him and Steve, they've had this relationship. They've been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
They've been together with 10, 12 years. They've been together. So, I mean, hey, they should be able to figure this thing out. But Trey's right here. It's like CP3. Draymond can't tune it. He's never going to be the leader you want. He's never going to be the big guy. He's never going to be that. Whatever he's supposed to be is never going to happen. And so we can't be surprised when stuff like this happens with him. Just like we can't be surprised that CP3 it sounded like just a pain in the ass to everybody, and everybody was over this dude because it was just too much all the time. And that's why nobody went to his birthday party. How did Bryce come in? No, I'm sorry. He had a Halloween party.
That was a Halloween party. Yeah.
He had a Halloween party in the suit, and 2 teammates showed up.
Yeah.
Nobody fucks with CP3.
Didn't you say they had to walk out the locker room to get it? Like they ain't had to go nowhere? And they still went to the crib?
That's what I thought. Like it was like one of them things where he invited the whole squad into there and they had paid for it.
But it's the same thing. Man, anybody trying to work in, I'm trying to go home, man. Anybody trying to go to your Halloween party? Not no Halloween party, man.
I just
Maybe
think
a Christmas party. Thanksgiving, I ain't going Halloween party.
I just think that's why gentlemen like Udonis Haslem, who were true leaders in the NBA, who found a way to sit on that bench when all their athletic prowess was gone and still found a way to contribute to that basketball team, should be revered a little bit more than what he is. Just my 2 cents.
Because Udonis wasn't on that BS. That's the thing. Like right. It sounded like Udonis kept it a buck, looked out for everybody, and was here. The difference between Udonis and Draymond to me is that Udonis didn't really seem like he wanted to make anything about him. Based on what I've heard and what I've read, it seemed like it was about the Heat. It's about the Heat culture. I'm trying to do what's best for this team. I think Draymond is about Draymond. And for a lot of different reasons, I think Draymond is about Draymond, and he's pretending to be about the team, pretending to be about, I care about this. Same thing with CP3. I think CP3 is about CP3. And he's mad. He is not really trying to make it. That whole tirade that he went on, all that nonsense, that's because CP3 got his own issues and just couldn't read the room. And you know what? Like Trey said, hey, you can't read the room. You keep lacking that ability. That athletic skill goes, we're gonna take you out the room because you can't read it.
Draymond another one that got the dude kicked out of Milwaukee. Remember? Told him he's gonna give him a pass to Jordan Poole. So I'm just saying, you always ain't gotta hit the guy, man. Shout out to Vernon Maxwell. One of my favorite players is not a Bucks, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anything else you guys want to get at before we wrap this thing up after 111-94 win, the Bucks beating the Pacers?
Hey man, look, I'm gonna give y'all some advice because I'm assuming most of us are in the same boat here. It's Christmas season. We wrapping gifts. Hey man, presentation. Now it doesn't really make any sense. It's a bit counterintuitive. Why the hell does a gift need to be wrapped nicely? You're just gonna tear the paper off. But on the same note, if your family's like my family gonna clown you, like who the hell wrapped this? If all them corners is rounded, it ain't on there. So, piece of advice to y'all: hey, there's a YouTube video. Go ahead, hey, how to wrap a gift. Boom, it's great. It was one that's like 2 minutes long. Hey, go ahead and follow that step by step. You're gonna learn. Oh, okay, this is how you do it, man. Because you know what? You spend all the money on the gift. You spend all that time. Man, take a couple minutes to make sure it is packaged nicely because we as men don't care about that, but it seems like everybody else does.
That's too much. That's too much work, JT. Go ahead to the mall. Donate $20 to that charity. Help them kids out or something like that. Let them, elderly, old aunties from back in the day, let them wrap it up and it'll be perfect. And then you just do like you always do. Lie and say you did it. That's what I do. I hope nobody walks back tomorrow.
Because right now it's the fourth quarter, brother. It is the 2 minute drill. The 2 minute warning has blown. That line to get your gifts wrapped must be off the hook at this point. Where you get Macy's?
I go to the middle of the mall, the little charity thing. I'm going tomorrow. I hope they don't watch this until after Christmas Day. If my wife watches, I'm be in so much trouble. But yeah, we just we lie about it. Hey, but before we go, we cannot go to sleep though, right? Without y'all brothers talking about this Indianapolis coach stuff and what we got going on, man. Like, I just came for that. That should always lead to look around when JT is here. I need to hear this Big Sig and all that stuff and old man Rivers out there. James Boyd, we ain't talking about
what
that.
happened. You saw what happened, man. You saw what happened.
Old man Rivers is out there slinging it. Don't let nobody gas you now. Trey's talking about meatball sub.
Throw that bologna sandwich out there.
I saw QB I saw QB rating at 124 is what I saw. I saw a 44-year man get out there and sling that thing.
Funny thing.
I saw a field general. I saw a field general.
That's great. That's again.
I saw Phil
that
was out
sound
there.
like moral victory is what it sounds like. But again, moral victories is great when you have an owner who all up in the videos, who all up on the sideline.
Phil wasn't the problem.
That's a moral victory.
Phil wasn't the problem.
Which is even worse. Which is even worse. Because I can see if Philip was the problem. He brought in a 50-year-old man to come play quarterback for you, which again was a dumbass decision. But you're right. The problem, you had other problems on the field, which lets me know it is a Big Sig problem. It wasn't the fact you brought a 50-year-old player. It was Big Sig and the luck ran out. She needed to sell the team to David Tepper. Tepper running the damn organization.
The second problem is
That's
the
what David
defense
Tepper
shit
doing.
his pants. The third problem is the defense shit his pants. I'm noticing a theme here. Look, what do you want me to do?
She got the headset on.
She got the
headset on.
What do you want me to do?
Damn.
Look, she got the headset on, but she ain't got no mic.
She got the green dot.
She got no mic.
She's
just listening in.
Green dot.
She's just listening in, Trey. She's not making
so
calls.
So what is she taking notes for? Then put your damn notepad up.
Right. You know what? Listen, let me tell you something.
Out there do that.
Got a notepad. You know who need a damn notepad? The D coordinator.
Oh,
and
now,
you can check all the damn plays.
Justin, Justin, ain't this what I told you going to happen? They start losing. And now it's a D coordinator, and it's this guy, and it's that guy. But when they win it, it's all Big Sig. When they lose, it's everybody else. Okay.
I don't understand. No, nobody said it. No, listen. You're saying that Big Sig deserves credit for the loss and she deserves credit for the win.
Yes.
Fine. Okay. If she deserves credit for the win, she deserves credit for the loss.
That's all I'm saying. Put her face on. When they talk about the
what I'm seeing is a Colts team that is like 8-7 right now. They're 8-7 right now. They started out 7-1, 7-2, and absolutely imploded.
Why couldn't Jonathan Taylor run a damn ball?
And that's what I don't understand. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why what happened to Jonathan? Jonathan Taylor got a 14. Jonathan Taylor was balling, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like they put the weight vest on that man, and now he's running with the weight vest on. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna tell you what.
Big Sig don't want to pay him. That's why she took the ball away from him.
But he's still getting touches. I don't know what's going on with this Colts team. It seems like, Alec Pierce. So Alec Pierce is the wideout that's averaging 20 yards a catch. And he's got like 9 yards this year, something like that too. That man is a baller. And Alec Pierce is going to – the Colts, we're in hell right now. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Daniel Jones is hurt. You traded your first-round pick in 2026 and 2027 for Sauce Gardner. He got a calf issue, which you worried about because that could lead to Achilles. So you don't know if that's going to happen. Anthony Richardson stinks. Don't let nobody gas you. I know he broke a bone in his face, but he wasn't going to play quarterback out there anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But Anthony Richardson stinks. Yeah. Phillip Rivers is on. You got Phillip Rivers. Enough said.
Trade for Shador.
This is a pain cave right now. That is something terrible because you can't get out of it. Like there's not like you're in the pain cave. You have to pretty much hope that Daniel Jones. First off, he would be free agent, so you have to sign him to a reduced deal. But who's going to sign that man until he's clear for physical? Like you're not going to sign that dude with a torn Achilles now. That's crazy.
I'm going to get Shador. That's what you should go get Shador. Go get Shador.
If I'm Shador, I don't accept it. No, if I'm Shador, get me out of LA. Let me get off of LA. Let me get Minnesota. Get me out of LA. Let me get Minnesota. Hey. Give me a chance to compete out there. Give me a true, because the problem with Indianapolis is. You're going to have to fire this. I don't know what the issue is. Chris Ballard, he's a Wisconsin guy, stinks. Terrible. Chris Ballard, hey, brother, you've been there 9 years with no division titles and 2 playoff games? Yep. I don't even know if he has any playoff wins, right? Maybe one. Maybe he had one out of that Andrew Luck year. I think he may have one playoff. I mean, it makes no sense. But, Shane Steichen's another one. He's been there since, 2022, 2023, when the Eagles made the first Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl after they won it, so it was like 20, whatever that is. Hey, man, it's not working, but it's not really his fault because the play calling's fine. But again, this is a Chris Ballard issue, just personnel. I'm so and they can't get out of it. The Colts are going to be bad. They're going to be bad unless they can somehow trade for a QB and not need a first round pick. And the other thing is you got a ton of guys up to get paid. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's free agent, not this year, but I think next year. I think his extension up. Alec Pierce is up. Michael Pittman Jr. is on. There's just a number. This is a bad spot to be in if you're a Colts fan at this point. I'm just be keeping it a buck with y'all. But of course, we trust in Big Sig to lead us out of it. Wear that coat, pop that hair.
Hey, let me hey Daryl Clayton, you're welcome. And then you got James Moore. What do they say? Can we talk about Pack? Nah, dog. We on to the Ravens. Ain't nobody talking about no damn Packers and Bears.
Let's talk about Packers and Bears. I told y'all about that boy Caleb. What I tell y'all about that boy Caleb? I told y'all, look, I watched every single game.
We got to run up. Dallas, Washington, Detroit, Minnesota, Denver, Kansas City. Who you got?
I got Dallas.
Terrible lineup for.
I got Dallas, Minnesota, Denver.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kansas City's on a third QB now because Gardner Minshew's hurt.
Yeah, I'm going Dallas, Detroit, Denver.
I think, and now here's the question: do the Bears? I don't know if the Bears can the Bears get the 1 seed in the NFC because the Seahawks I think are the 1 seed right now.
Yeah, they'll need Trace. They'll need Trace Panthers to help them out, and then they need the seed. But I think if that happens, the Bears have to win. Trace Panthers have to beat the Seahawks, and then I think that would leapfrog the Bears to the 1 seed. I don't see the Bears beating the San Francisco 49ers.
I definitely see that.
They might not lose. One thing about Detroit, they're going to come into Chicago ready to play football. I think the Bears are absolute frauds, and Caleb didn't look good. He had one throw that's still allegedly that he caught it. That dude had another throw in the first half. He got outplayed by Malik Willis for the second time, and Malik Willis did not get the result he deserved.
I think that Caleb Williams, one thing I've said about Caleb Williams the whole time, he has the ability to put this team on his back and will his team to win. He does. Something about that fourth quarter. It's the clutch gene. It's that when it's about 9 minutes left in that fourth quarter, something clicks. And it's wild. Like you see it just game after game. The problem I have with this Bears team is you can't play like that against good teams. I'm not sure you can play like that against Green Bay team at full strength with Jordan Love QB. You can't be down 16-3 in the fourth and rely on Caleb gonna bring us back here. I mean, good teams like the Rams, they're going to keep sticking it to you, and you're not going to be able to close that gap. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's where I would say the Bears potentially being frauds, where it's like, yeah, they keep finding ways to win and pull this thing out, but against better competition, they get up a lead like that on you, they're not just going to squander it like that. That's not going to happen. And I think that's a concern. Having said that, though, I think, man, Caleb is nice. Every game he makes throws where you go, wow, and you literally watch him. And he does will this team back. I mean, he did that throw to DJ Moore. I mean, bruh, like that touchdown. Caleb. What I just don't get though is why this Bears team looks so inept offensively for just very long stretches at a time. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
Hey, counselor, can I ask 2 follow-ups? I know we got to get to bed. So when you said he has that inept thing to get going about 9 minutes in the fourth quarter, does that also transfer to Keyshawn Nixon's head? Because had he just played remotely decent defense, we're not even talking about that. Had Romeo Doubs recovered an onside kick, that brother would finish the game with 150 yards and no touchdowns. So, I mean, you got to do the small fundamental things in order to not win. I mean, you just can't not recover the kick. And, I mean, you missed the last one, JT. We talked about Trey's fellow Bison, talk about the Guardian Capo, the recovery team and all that stuff. But you got to catch a kick at the bottom line. You just got to catch it. Nothing else. Everything else is a moot point.
I think it's fair to say the Packers lost that game as much as the Bears won it, right? I definitely think you're right there. And Romeo Doubs, I don't know. That was an anomaly. That just doesn't typically happen. You typically don't see that on onside kicks. And Nixon just got cooked. It just kind of was what it was. And he just poor technique, just a lapse. I'm not sure what it was. Shout out to DJ Moore. He's had a couple of these game winner walk-offs, right? Like but the thing about Green Bay is at this point, I think Green Bay makes the playoffs at what? What do they need to win their last 2?
Nope. You get a Detroit loss to Minnesota, they're in Thursday, or they just win one of the last 2.
Okay, so they need to win one of the last 2 and they're in. What are they projecting with the last wild card, the 7th seed?
The 7. So we go to Chicago right now.
So they could, yeah, they 100% could go to Chicago, or I mean, look, I think that's the thing about this Packers team is I think this Packers team is good enough to win a playoff game. I do. I think I think as it is, they're good enough to win a playoff game. I don't know if you can beat the Rams because I'm worried about your pass rush. You've got to put pressure on Matt Stafford, and I think I would be sick to see Devontae and Cooper and Puka Nacua cook the Packers, but that's a possibility with what you're seeing, But I do think that this Packers team is good enough to win a playoff game right now. I mean, Micah Parsons, the loss of that's a huge loss. That is a huge loss. I mean, the defense is still pretty good, but you go potentially from elite to pretty good. That's a big drop. But we'll see. We'll see. Justin, you can never count Green Bay out.
My last thing I'm gonna tell you, and then I know because Trey really ready to go to bed, man. My last thing.
You gotta drink that eggnog. Pass gas on.
Well, I'm about to go to sleep.
We got Colin Oliver coming back off the PUP list. His nickname is Baby Micah. We gonna get to it. I love to see Caleb down there again.
What I tell you about Tech McMillan, brother?
Hey, he be balling. Yeah, Tessa balling.
What I tell you about McMillan? I told you about McMillan. Even Travis Hunter even told you. Travis Hunter said that was the hardest person he had to guard in college. I told you McMillan was that dude. I told you McMillan's the best wide receiver in America last year.
Yeah, Tess a real deal. Yeah, man, you talk about that boy Matthew Golden.
You know what it is though? I can't even knock Matthew Golden because this isn't on Golden.
No. Matthew Golden gonna be fine.
Okay.
He got more catches than Devontae had his rookie year. He got more catches in than Randall Cobb had his rookie year. See, the reason why Tech can go into Carolina and ball, because y'all ain't had shit down there. Y'all was sorry as hell. So he gotta go ball. We had a room full of wide receivers.
Joe Justin.
They all number ones, ain't they?
You can't tell me that this Packers team drafting this Packers team drafting Matthew Golden in that first round. All the cooking he was doing in training camp, all the hype he was beating, we was giving everybody work in training camp. Everybody was like, "Oh, this rookie gonna be the real deal." Even a little bit in the preseason, you can't tell me this is not a massive disappointment to see Matthew Golden out there catching the jet sweep at best, getting no targets, one target. I don't know. I don't. How you the first round pick and you the number 5 wideout?
Well, I don't judge it off of this 1 year. We'll see. We'll see in a couple years. Because Devontae, I mean, I remember when I'm old enough to remember people wanted to cut Devontae from Green Bay, and then he turned into the best wide receiver in football. So we'll give it a little bit of time. I mean, honestly, if I'm being totally transparent, I hate the way they're using him. I want to see him get the ball. I thought he showed glimpses in Denver of that. Last thing I say, and then I'm done for the whole night. We saw these Chicago people crying the whole time when the Brewers beat their Cubs in the playoffs. Oh, that fly in the L. Why would you do that? That's our celebration. And then you see these dumb lames running around with these cheese graters on your head. Keep the cheese grater on your head. Make sure it matches your fingernail polish when we come down there for the football game, too. Baby Micah knocking it off.
All right. We'll leave it there. Appreciate everybody for joining us, staying with us tonight. It is officially Christmas Eve. We're at 12:15 on the East Coast. Let's see. Again, we appreciate everybody for being with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us tonight. The Cream City crossover, watching the Bucks after a Bucks 111-94 victory over the Indiana Pacers, doing what we do to those bums in Indiana as usual. If you appreciate this win, getting back in the W column, please hit that like button on the way out if you didn't do it on the way in. We greatly appreciate it. If you could tell a friend about the Cream City crossover. It is the best Bucks post game in all of the land. That's a great Christmas present for us. If you could, please go like, follow, subscribe, all that. And please do tell a friend. We appreciate it. James Moore says, thank you for the show. Thank you for joining us, James. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the super chats as well. And everybody who left a comment, watched on YouTube or Twitter tonight. Fun stuff. Bucks get it done. I don't know if we'll be back on the 26th. We'll play that one by ear, but we'll definitely be back for the one after that. Bucks win at 111-94 over the Indiana Pacers. This has been Cream City Media Group Production from the Gucci Alert.
TC, I got one question for y'all. I got one more question for y'all. I was hoping it's going to get to this. We saying Merry Christmas to people. We saying Happy Holidays. How y'all
I
getting
do
down?
both.
How y'all getting down?
I do both.
But you know what you're not saying? You know what the weakest one is?
What's that?
Season's greetings. Season's greetings got to be the weakest. What is that? Somebody hit you with the season. I mean, I've only read it. I've never heard nobody say season's greetings.
Season's greetings. Let's put that on the cards.
The weakest one by far. Trash. I ain't gonna go to somebody, hey, season's greetings, Trey.
Yeah,
what?
nah. It's either Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. You know, you always get away with the Happy Holidays. So.
Well, I just go out like this: Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, and just for JT, season's greetings, Justin.
Yeah, Kwanzaa. Who made up Kwanzaa? That's some bullshit right there. Who made up that shit? That ain't even real, man. Who made up Kwanzaa? You know what? My parents used to have a Kwanzaa thing. I was like, I started reading. I was like, did somebody just make this up in the 80s?
Oh,
Who just made that up? They just made that one up. They made it up. It ain't no real thing.
My God, look. The Afrocentric movement was a business. That was $1 billion business, brother. We got Kwanzaa.
Is it? Do people still celebrate that? Is it still a thing?
Incense. Oh, I'm sure people do.
Oh, okay. I didn't know people still did it. Okay.
I'm sure people.
I know my parents did it for like a hot second.
My mom was trying to do that shit one year, and we was forgetting what the shit was from before. We was reading. We was damn near like, what was it? And then we was like, fuck
yeah, man. Y'all was listening too much.
Kwanzaa's whack as hell. You know what it is?
Too much Jesse Jackson. Too much Red.
That one professor was, we got this bogus ass holiday. Come on.
Yeah, man. So,
goddamn.
Y'all can leave Kwanzaa in 1985. Whenever the hell it got created, y'all can leave it. Like I said, I'm pro-black. Kwanzaa, come on, man. We made that one up. We can leave that one.
Hey, brother. You gotta call it how you see it.
We can quit that one, man.
Gotta call it how you see it.
It was a good try to get it to something. I don't think it ever caught on for real.
It was an unnecessary reach. We just didn't have to do it.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the attempt.
We didn't have to do that.
What you got this candle? Let me
in the damn show.
If I am your enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. I don't take no wooden nickels. Courage.